Hi, my name is Rachel Paxton. Today I'm going to show you how to make and can homemade grape jelly. In this class you will learn how to make and can grape jelly. I'll lead you through the process step by step. I'll give you the recipe and canning supply list you can download and print out for future reference. You'll find those in your course materials. You'll also gain the confidence you need to try more canning recipes on your own. For this recipe you'll need 5 pounds of fresh grapes, 7 cups of sugar, and 1 box of powdered pectin. You can use purple or green grapes for this recipe. You'll need a boiling water canner, a canning rack, a jar lifter, a wide mouth funnel, and 4 pint canning jars. This is what a boiling water canner looks like. If you don't have one, you'll need to get one. They have them at Walmart, or you can order them online at Amazon. They're about $30 to buy the whole kit, so that's pretty inexpensive to get started canning. This is what a canning rack looks like. You can find the link to this and the boiling water canner in the supply list in your course materials. You only need this if you're going to use your own stock pot for canning. This comes with a boiling water canner, but if you want to use your own stock pot, you need to have a canning rack in the bottom of your pot so that your jars don't sit directly on the bottom of the pot. These are about $10. And you can buy them separately. If you are going to use your own stock pot, just make sure that you have enough room in your pot to have 1 inch of water above the canning jars. You'll also need a jar lifter to take your jars in and out of the pan, a wide mouth funnel to easily get your food in the jars. You need to fill your canner about 3/4 of the way full with water. You don't need to heat it quite yet because you have some work to do with the grapes first. You want to sterilize your jars, rings, and lids in the dishwasher. I do mine in the dishwasher because the only other way to do it is in boiling water on the stove, and it takes up a lot of room on your stove. So if you do it in your dishwasher, then just leave them in the dishwasher until you're ready to use them. You can reuse your jars and rings, but not the lids. You need to buy new lids every time. I always make sure to have plenty on hand so I don't run out. They're very inexpensive. First, you want to rinse your grapes and remove the stems. You're going to be running them through a jelly bag, so you don't have to get every stem out, but just try to get most of them and rinse them off real good. Place the grapes in a large stock pot. You want to add water to just barely cover them. Simmer until the grapes are soft, about 10 minutes, and crush them with a potato masher to get all the juice out. Next, you want to place the grapes in a jelly bag to strain the juice. This makes sure that you have a nice clear liquid for your jelly. These jelly bags are less than $10. You can get them on Amazon. There's a link to this in the supply list in your course materials. If you have cheesecloth, you can also use that. You can put 3 layers of cheesecloth in a colander and then put your grapes in the cheesecloth, and then the juice will run out of the bottom of the colander into your bowl or whatever you put the colander in. So that's another way to do it. You want to measure your liquid and place in a large stock pot. You need exactly 5 cups of juice for this recipe. So if you have too much, pour it out, and if you don't have quite enough, you can add a little bit of water, but you need to have the exact amount of liquid for your jelly to set. Place your juice in a large stock pot and stir in the pectin. I stirred mine in with a whisk. And bring it to a boil that cannot be stirred down. Stir in the sugar all at one time and heat it again to a boiling that cannot be stirred down. That means that when you stir it, that it doesn't stop boiling. And then boil it for 1 minute. There's lots of foam on the top of this, so you want to skim it off with a metal spoon. Ladle your jelly into sterilized jars, leaving a 1/4 inch headspace. The headspace is the amount of space between the top of the jelly and the top of the jar. It's important to leave whatever headspace that your recipe calls for because your food will expand in your jar, and you want to make sure there's enough room in your jar for the food to expand. Wipe the rims of the jars with a damp paper towel or dish towel and place the rings and lids on the jar finger tight. Process the jars in a boiling water canner for 5 minutes. If you live above 1,000 feet in elevation, you need to process for longer than 5 minutes, so check your altitude adjustment chart in the course materials. Make sure that there is an inch of water above your jars, and your water doesn't have to be boiling when you put the jars in the pan, but don't start the timer until the water is boiling. Use a jar lifter or tongs to remove your jars from the canner. Set your jars on a towel on the kitchen counter to cool. When the jars seal, you'll hear a pinging noise. Sometimes they will seal in the canner, and sometimes it takes a few minutes for them to seal after they come out while they're cooling off. If a jar does not seal, it can be refrigerated and eaten in the next couple weeks. Your sealed jars can be stored for 1 to 2 years or more in a dark, cool area. You can tell if the jars are sealed or not by pushing your finger down in the middle of the lid. And if it goes down and up again, then it is not sealed. And if it's flat, it is sealed. Jelly takes longer to set than jam does, so it will be runny still when you take it out of the canner. It's important to let your jelly set for a couple of days before you move it and put it away. It can take up to a week for the jelly to set completely. So if it's runnier than you'd like when you take it out of the canner, give it a couple days and then check it again, and their jelly should have set by then. So this grape jelly is really good. You can make it with purple grapes or green grapes. The green grapes will make a clear jelly, and they taste very different, so I like to have both. So I know my kids love grape jelly, so I was excited to get some free grapes from a friend this year so I could make this. So give it a try and see what you think.